Welcome to the Shrewdness. We are so excited about this baseball-focused endeavor. As teased in prior episodes, we are doing 15 to 20-minute primers for each MLB team to prepare you for this 2025 season, to help you with your fantasy baseball drafts and future bets, or simply to improve your knowledge as the season begins. From the projected starters to the prospects, we will touch it all and give our shrewd takes on the key to their success. So sit back, take some notes, and enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrewdness. We are excited to be continuing our baseball previews. We're almost done. We're in the home stretch. And tonight we are going to be doing the Atlanta Braves. And leading us through this venture is the one, the only Dex.
Woo! Hot Atlanta. So ready for Hot Atlanta. So I kind of like Atlanta. They're a very fun team, and I got a little soft spot, kind of like everyone our age group with WGN and TBS. So you see the Cubs during the day and the Braves at night.
Right.
And Dale Murphy and Bob Horner and Rafael Belliard. And
Absolutely.
who else we got? Terry Pendleton.
Terry
some legends out there.
Tom Glavine and John Smoltz. And...
Oh, that was when they got good. I'm talking about the 80s Braves.
Okay. Pascual Perez was the ace.
Doyle Alexander. Big free agent from Detroit. So these are not
Zane Smith.
These are not those 80s, 90s Braves. They're way better. So this Braves team, we'll go back to last year. So last year they finished 89 and 73, pretty darn good. But they were kind of a disappointment because their fan graph was 95 wins. Pacoda was 100, and Vegas over-under last year was 101.5.
Pacoda was 100?
Yes.
And Vegas was higher. That's
Vegas
crazy.
was higher. So even though they finished 89 and 73, that was 12 and a half games off. So not just by all accounts, not the best season, but here's why. So they still made the playoffs, but they lost in the wild card round to San Diego, who we just talked about a couple episodes ago. Just 2-0. Their Cy Young from last year, Chris Sale, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he didn't even pitch in the playoffs. And they lost Acuna to his another ACL, and then they lost Ozzie Albies, and then they lost Austin Riley.
Wow,
they just lost their entire lineup. But they still won 89 games. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And most of the way they did it was pitching. So the team pitching, they're third in ERA, first in Ks per 9, first in home runs allowed per 9. For the least, the good part about it.
Have the Braves ever had bad pitching?
I feel like it's not very often.
I can't remember the last time you were like, oh my God, who are these guys pitching for the Braves? It's literally been the 80s.
Yes, it's been forever. Their bullpen was great. So really pitching got them through, but their offense still wasn't bad. It just wasn't what it would have been with a healthy Acuna, Albies, and Riley for an entire season.
Right.
So we'll run through. They have a $215 million payroll. And this year's team, so Fangraphs has them at 93, so really only dropped them 2 wins. Pacoda took them a big drop, but still at 92.7. But from 100, they kind of dropped them 7. And then Vegas dropped them 8, so to 93.5 over-under. So we'll go into that, and then, as always, we'll finish with what we think. The lineup that is projected for most games this year, and it's a good lineup, is Jurickson Profar. They're going to have him in left field. Austin Riley will be at the hot corner. Matt Olson at first base. Marcell Ozuna, the DH. Michael Harris, the second, will be in center field. Ozzie Albies at second base. Drake Baldwin, so a rookie who burst onto the team. So he's going to be at catcher. Sean Murphy's out, but Drake Baldwin, if he hits well, he'll stay up there. The shortstop is going to be Orlando Arcia in the 8-hole. And then 9th is Jared Kelenic, and he'll be in right field, and he'll be platooning with Brian De La Cruz. So from our Pittsburgh episode, when we mocked him, here's where he landed. He landed in Atlanta. So that is the team. And you're like, but Dex, you forgot Ronald Acuna. Oh, I know. He's out still. So he'll be coming back in May at some point. In which case, see you later, Brian De La Cruz and Jared Kelenic. It's just gonna be Acuna, and he'll suck up that role, and it'll still be Michael Harris and who else? Oh, Jurickson Profar. So I'll be the outfield. So that is a starting lineup. It is very good. So we'll start off with Jurickson Profar. So they got him from San Diego. So he came over. He probably had his best year. And so I know Chisholm knows this guy from Texas days, Northwest.
Totally.
Played in the Double-A league with
I
the
watched
Royals.
watched him play back in the actually here at the Rough Riders Stadium.
Yep.
He was the minors for the Rangers.
Yeah, the Frisco Rough Riders, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's where he was the number one prospect in baseball for like 3 straight years. So he was much like Royce Lewis, before Royce Lewis, but he just never quite got there. So he is a switch hitter, 32 years old, and last year was his best season. He had a 3.6 WAR, and his slash line was 280, 380 on base, and an 839 OPS, which is pretty dang good. He had 24 home runs, 85 RBIs. He even stole 10 bases. And then kind of as always his thing, he can hit. But he had 101 Ks and 76 walks. So that is a bunch of walks. That dude's going to be on base a lot.
Where was this version of Jurickson Profar
Yes.
with the Rangers? Because it was nowhere near this.
It was never there. And then
Well, it hasn't been anywhere near this until last year. Anywhere he's gone,
Right.
like this was easily his best year last year. So.
Right.
Absolutely. So he came over from San Diego on a 3-year, $42 million deal. Another kind of fun fact, I looked through and like everyone has hit by pitches. He doubled the next guy. He got hit 18 times for San Diego last year. He just leaned into it, I guess.
Yeah.
He's pulling the old Jim Rice. Or no, Don Baylor.
Oh,
Don
they
Baylor.
hit me again.
It was Don
Baylor.
Baylor. They just used to
Don Baylor's put his whole face over the plate.
Right.
It was crazy. But also he was a humongous human being, and I feel like they always just bounced off no matter how hard he threw. So Jurickson Profar, all-star for the first time last year. So kind of what we were saying. Took him till age 31 to become an all-star. But it is what it is, man. He finally turned in a great year, and it paid off. So now he's got 42 million reasons to say, woo, thank goodness for one good year. And
right.
So now the 32, 33, 34 years.
That he got to like hang around as long as he did without delivering. Shows the power
Pedigree
of
matters.
Potential, right?
Yep. Potential and pedigree goes a long ways. Speaking of that, totally off topic, but since it just happened, Mickey Manayak, the former top overall pick from 2018, somewhere 17, for Philly, just a total bust. And he finally got cut. But Colorado Rockies, because they always do the right thing, I'll give you $1.25 million to come be terrible for us. Why? He's never done anything. So
We'll
totally off topic, but just goes to show if you're a top pick, top prospect, top pedigree, we'll just keep dumping money until you just force our hand.
Absolutely.
Or you were once good at baseball, always good at baseball.
Yeah.
Even if it was high school. So,
right.
I mean, that's kind of where we peaked. I don't know. So it's what it is.
Totally.
All right. So number 2, Austin Riley. I think this dude's a pure freak. Right-handed bat, age 28, so he is in his wheelhouse. Third baseman, plays great. 2.9 WAR, and by all accounts, it was. I mean, it's not even a bad year, but it was his worst year by far. So 256, 322, and a 783 OPS. He only had 19 home runs and 56 RBIs, 118 Ks, only 37 walks. But he was hurt, so he fractured his right hand in August. And it was when he was finally starting to do good. He was doing horrible. And then he finally started to hit pretty well late July, August, and then he broke his hand. Like, here we go, what it is. But he's a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. Only got the 110 games last year again. So struggled out of the gate. And here's the deal, though. It's his first year under a 6 WAR since he's been up. First year under 6. Like he's been 6.
And he's got 5 years of service time, so he's been around too.
That's still 20. He's on pace, or was on pace for 75 RBIs and 25 homers, even in a down year.
Exactly. So. But here's what I know he'll be right back to this again. So he's been a top 7 MVP ballot every single year. His 3-year average over the last 3 years, 36 homers and 99 RBIs and a 135 OPS plus. I mean, that
Yeah,
is
awesome.
disgustingly good. And they missed that last year. I think just losing everyone they lost just kind of did a chain reaction, just all the way down. And it impacted him too. I mean, you don't have as many people on base. You're kind of band-aid through the lineup. And then you're just wasn't good. So I think Austin Riley bounces back huge this year. I'm really looking forward to it. And I got a fun story about him. So we're at Gwinnett, the AAA Braves, and I really wanted to get his autograph because I had gotten most of them already. I had Dansby Swanson, I had Ozzie Albies, and he was the last big kind of Braves prospect I didn't have yet. And I watched him go by. He's like, "Oh man, sorry, man, I can't today." I'm like, "All right, well, next time, son of a." And so he gets in his big black truck, and he's driving off. And then it kind of stops up there, so I'm like, I'll walk back up, see what's up. Maybe change his mind, wants to sign my kid's ball, my ball. And this old guy gets out, and he's going in. He's like, I got to find a bathroom. So Austin Riley's dad had to go to the bathroom. He's like, well, I guess I got a few minutes. Yeah, let me see your ball. So I got his autograph all because his dad had to go take a piss. And I was like, whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it. Go tear it up when you get up there.
Yeah,
and he did. He went up there and started tearing it up. So, fun story.
Absolutely.
I like Austin Riley. He eventually signed my baseball.
Right.
It was good.
And he's a first rounder, too. He's a guy they got first round a long time ago.
Yep. So I think he comes back with vengeance this year. All right, so that brings up number 3 hitter, Matt Olson. Just a pure slugger, left-handed bat, 31 years old, 3.8 WAR last year. He had a 247, 333, 790 slash line, so not horrible, but the year before, in 2023, he had 54 homers. I think I got 130 RBIs or something, a ton. So when he dropped and only had 29 homers and 98 RBIs, that doesn't sound bad. It's just comparatively.
Right.
And 29-98, I mean, as Royals fans, we're like, shh. We'll give, if Pasquatch can give us that this year.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
29-98.
And that was, but the problem is it was half of what he did the year before.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality,
That's crazy.
right, actually, it's not quite
That's
half.
insane. Like,
Yeah.
That's a bad year.
Exactly. So 54 homers down to 29. I mean, he's probably going to go back into the around 40, which is kind of where he normally is. So I don't know if he'll be back in the 50s, but I don't think he'll be in the 20s either. So I think Matt Olson's he's awesome. So
what's amazing about Olson too is like if you look back at, I mean, he was a first round draft pick for Oakland a long time ago, and I always think of Oakland when I think of Matt Olson. Just
him and Chapman, first and third base, Gold Gloves on each end.
Totally, but I mean, he hit. If you look, in Oakland, he hit 2 times. He had 36 and 39 home runs.
Yeah.
That was a
In
freaking canyon. That place is impossible to hit a home run in, and he hit almost 40 home runs there twice. That's impressive. This dude has some power.
There's power, yeah.
Which makes you think back to Mark McGwire getting 49 as a rookie.
Oh,
like how many would he have had in any other ballpark?
Jeez.
Like
seriously.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously went to St. Louis and ended up cranking out like 70s.
I mean, that place was like Yellowstone.
49 in Yellowstone. I mean, it's pretty darn good.
Right.
It looks like Matt Olson may be subject to the strikeout. Looks like he had 170 last year.
Ooh.
He did. But he also walked 71 times. So it's one of those weird things I just never quite understood about baseball is how you can be so good at seeing balls and strikes and working counts. Yet when you swing, you just can't touch the ball.
Still strike out that much.
Yeah, but you still hit a crap load of homers. So I don't know.
Right.
I mean, 247 hitter, and he still struck out 170 times. It's amazing stat weirdness to me. So I'm not really sure how it happens, but I mean, he is a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove, Silver Slugger. Yeah, I don't know. He had a couple things drop, though. So statistically, his exit velocity and hard hit percentage and barrel rate drop percentage, they all dropped by multiple points.
I mean, he's 31. I mean, that's not old, but
no.
It's also not usually where you see a guy get better.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing that stood out to me when I was going through this is Matt Olson hasn't missed a game for 3 straight seasons. That's pretty helpful.
That's really rare for a big power guy too.
Yeah,
it is. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Seems like they're more prone to injuries and getting hurt.
He's got a pretty fluid swing though, and he's not like gargantuan human.
Yeah, you're right.
mean, he's certainly not stealing bases, so he's not running into anything. But yeah, he's pretty darn good. So I think he's also going to have a good bounce back year. And again, looking at 29 and 98, he's not horrible.
No,
So
that's
even if
still
he just does that regression year again, I mean, geez, I think they would probably take that.
Right.
So number 4. So this guy has just been around the globe, it seems like. Marcell Ozuna. He's been really good. He's been really bad. He's been really good. And last year he was really good. So he's 34 now. So right-handed bat. He's only going to be in the DH slot. So he used to play some outfield back in the day. But last year he delivered a 4.3 WAR, a 302 average, 378 on base, and a 925 OPS. He delivered 39 home runs, 104 RBIs. I mean, if there was a bright spot in the lineup last year, it was Marcell Ozuna. Strikingly similar, 170 Ks, but he had 3 more walks than Olsen. He's like, hey, Matty, why don't you see a pitch, bro? So he got 3 extra walks on him. But he's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, also won a Gold Glove, but this is old days. So if you guys remember Marcell Ozuna coming up, he was with the Marlins.
Oh my
they
gosh,
were incredible. They were like poised to make a big run.
Yep.
And it was him, Giancarlo Stanton, and Christian Yelich.
Stacked.
That was the outfield, and they were incredible. Like,
if I remember correctly,
Stan had 59 home runs the last year he was there.
Yeah, and if I remember, Ozuna had I want to say he had 125 RBIs one year. Like
I think it was.
Like it was. Like I remember him being like I was like 100 like for the Marlins, which was. I mean, they were really good back then.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing. That lineup was stupid good, and yeah, he was. Then Jose Fernandez. So if you remember him, he was the pitcher. It was just incredible. And they got in a boat wreck and died, and it killed the team. Like they all got traded. So Stanton went to the Yankees. Zuna ended up going to the Cardinals. Yelich went to the Brewers. I mean, they just decimated the team.
That outfield was awesome, though.
It was, but that was a really good team. So when our Miami episode comes out, man, we know where you were not even a decade ago, and boy, where you are today is a shell
big
of
difference.
Big
difference.
One of the surprising things about Ozuna, he was MVP 4 last year, 4th in the MVP voting, which is unbelievable.
34.
Yeah, because I mean, Ohtani was obviously 1, and then you had Paul Skeens, I think, was up there. And what? Marcell Ozuna, where did you come from, bro? He's just like, dude, I've always been here.
Right.
But it's kind of crazy. But he played all 162 games last year as well. So for as many people as they had hurt, they also had dudes that didn't miss 1 game, which is crazy to me.
925 OPS is
the 4.3 WAR from a DH, like
Yeah.
we've talked about on previous episodes. You're not getting any fielding contribution there. It's all hitting. And hitting 300 with 40 home runs and 100 RBIs is solid.
Actually, if you had put him in left, his WAR would probably be 2.
Would have gone down. Yeah. And since we just did our Dodgers episode, it is kind of funny that even if you doubled Ozuna's WAR, you're still not at Ohtani.
Yeah.
And that's 39 home runs, 104 RBIs, a 302 average, a 925 OPS, and you're not even half of what Ohtani's WAR was, who also did nothing but DH last year.
Right.
Just wanted to throw that out.
That's what's crazy.
When I saw that and looked at it, I'm like, wow.
That can't be right.
That
But it
can't
is.
be right. It's the same formula. I pulled it from the same websites. So crazy.
Yep.
All right. So number 5, Michael Harris, the second left-handed bat, 24. So nice young kid. Center field, 3.2 WAR last year, 264, 304, and a 722 OPS. So he kind of had a down year. 16 homers and 48 RBIs for center fielder. Doesn't sound bad, but this guy was a 2022 Rookie of the Year. And then another theme, limited to 110 games, injured throughout the year. So again, he had some health issues too that kept him off the field. So they lost. I mean, with Acuna gone and then Michael Harris gone, those are 2 of their best outfielders. They were just kind of struggle busting to find anybody out there last year. But Michael Harris, again, I think he could come back and be pretty darn good. You guys, what do you think about Michael Harris? Do you like him?
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he. It's funny. He's a guy that tends to get lost because he's playing on this team. I think if he were anywhere else, everybody would be talking about how great he is because he would be like the centerpiece probably for a lot of teams.
Absolutely.
But it's like he's surrounded by all these guys that are just freaking
ridiculous,
killing the ball, and so it's like, oh yeah, Michael Harris. Like he's just kind of an afterthought. But what I like about him is his stinking defense.
Yeah,
like
he brings it.
He can really play defense, and as a center fielder, even if that's all he did, like in our Royals episode we were talking about Kyle Isbell. Kyle Isbell, is like a 2-WAR guy just from his defense, and you got a guy here who hit 16 home runs, 10 stolen bases, like along
110
with that,
games. Yeah,
that'd be pretty. Yeah, in 110 games.
Yep.
So like that's a lot of bat for a guy who is that good of a defensive player.
It is, and I like it when your center fielder can be in the middle of the lineup too. And
yeah, right.
The thing is, they probably put him at the top, but no room. And it's kind of what you want your best guys to have the most at bats. And like, as a 5-hitter, he's pretty darn good. I think
Where do they slot Acuna in this lineup, Dex? When
they usually had him number 1.
That's what I thought. If I remember him being leadoff, right? So would everybody just slide down?
But he's never lower than 3rd. I think he kind of batted around a little bit, so he had him in the 1 and 2 hole. But I think he was leading off most of the time.
I started to make that comment. They're really going to have to juggle this lineup up when he comes back.
Yeah, imagine.
It's not obvious where he'll drop in.
So oftentimes they had Acuna, then Albies, then Riley, Olsen, Ozuna, Harris. So I think that's probably what they're going to do. And then Profar, he'll just be the best 7 bat in the majors.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty good.
No.
So Ozzy Albies is next up. And again, they put him at the top too. So I think actually, since we're recording this right after opening day, I think he was 2nd in the lineup yesterday. But Ozzy
He's
Albies
up there a lot. I remember that about him.
Is tremendous. He's so freaking good when he's healthy. He's only 28, and he's been in the league for like 7 seasons. He's a switch hitter, which was amazing. And last year, again, a down year, but still a 1.6 WAR. He just missed half the season, though. So 251, 303 on base, way below what he can do. 707 OPS, again, way below. 10 homers, 53 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. But he just doesn't like even years. So I believe it was Saberhagen that always won Cy Youngs in odd years, and just even wasn't his thing. Ozzy Albies is an MVP candidate every odd year, but even years, he just hasn't made it through one season.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's super weird. But 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. Guess which years they are? Odd years, yeah. But he fractured his wrist.
25.
Yep, so he fractured his wrist last year. Then he came back. Then he broke his toe. It was like, Jiminy Christmas. But literally, he was the number 1 fantasy second baseman in baseball the year before. 280, 33 home runs, 109 RBIs. That's pretty damn
33
nice.
home runs from a second baseman is just...
Yeah, it's Ketel Marte and Jose Altuve. That's the short list. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Just doesn't happen.
Nope, but he's healthy right now. So Ozzy, I think he went yard game 1, but regardless.
I was just getting ready to say that. 3-run homer, it looked like.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when he's healthy, he's great. And right now, this team is healthy. So that brings me up to number 7 hitter. So Drake Baldwin. So left-handed hitter, 24 years old, catcher, and from Missouri State.
Hey,
Springfield, Missouri boys. We like that.
Missouri.
So 3rd-round pick in 2022. I didn't realize. I just didn't even know. I looked at his stat line. I'm like, oh, who's this Drake Baldwin guy? Because I was at the Yankees-Braves game last Wednesday for spring training, kind of the last week. And Drake Baldwin came up. I had to look him up. Like, who the heck is Drake Baldwin?
Right.
Like, good thing I got my podcast coming up next week. I'm going to be talking about this guy. And then I looked. I'm like, holy crap. In AA, AAA combined last year, he was 276 hitter, 370 on base, 793 OPS, 16 homers, 88 RBIs. And he had 95 Ks to 72 walks. So pretty freaking good. And he has a 13.9% walk rate throughout the minors. So that's incredibly good. So I think he earned a spot, and I don't think Sean Murphy's getting it back unless he just struggle buses and gives it back to him. But this kid's impressive. And then, I don't know. I mean, that's a very good young prospect to have up there. And they've got youth throughout their lineup. And That's just one
How
more
is he
piece.
defensively? Do you know anything about his defense?
Apparently, he's pretty good. He's above average.
Okay.
So he's not a bat first, no defense guy.
Yeah.
Which there are some of those out there. Then there's also the reverse. They are the best defenders in the world, but they can't touch the ball.
They hit 175. And
yep. But I guess he's got a really good arm and throws people out. So I think he'll be pretty valuable back there. So that brings us to number 8, Orlando Arcia. Right-handed bat, 30 years old. Going to be playing shortstop for him. He's not very good. We finally found a hole. We finally found a hole in this Braves team. And 218, 271 on base, 625 OPS. Just kind of makes you want to puke in your mouth a little bit.
I believe he had 17 home runs. How did he get 17 home runs? Like, what in the world? That's a weird...
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected that.
I don't even know. All I remember is he came up as a Brewers prospect, and they always kept waiting too. That never really worked. I did get his autograph in Colorado Springs, so I got his too when he's coming through. I loved it. I got tons of those guys there. But Arcia got that one there. And his brother, Oswaldo Arcia, played for the Twins.
Ah, yeah, Oswaldo.
I don't know if you remember that dude. I don't think he's in the league anymore. In Orlando, he's pretty close to not being in the league anymore too. But he plays really, really good defense. He was an all-star actually in 23. I mean, not really because of his offense. I mean, he's fine. But to me, this is just an offensive liability on the wrong side of 30, and they are I bet if they have a way to get a better shortstop next offseason, that will be what they do.
Yeah, this might be swan song for old Orlando.
Yeah, because last year's the first year they've had to worry about it because they had Dansby Swanson there for the first 8 years, and they never had to worry about. I mean, Dansby Swanson's a Gold Glove shortstop who hit 30 home runs or at least 20s, and would bat you around 260 to 280. So, and then when you get, I mean, the glove's probably comparable. Nothing else though.
No.
Yeah, 128 Ks and a 218 average, 271 on base.
This harkens me back to Rafael Ramirez from the 80s. It seems like he'd be a Rafael Ramirez.
Nice pull.
like 220, great glove. You know.
Yeah, even Belliard hit the ball harder than this guy.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so the other
this guy, I gotta say though, okay, I know you're talking this guy, and you're talking weak spot, but holy crap, I do not understand Jared Kelenic. I can't ever say his name.
Kelenic.
Kelenic.
It might be Kelenic. I don't even know either.
I don't know.
This guy.
All I know is I remember reading about how this guy was going to be all world for the Mariners
for season after season.
Kill it. Like he was supposed to be incredible, and he just had the worst rookie year, and they kept trying, and he's just never materialized. And it's bizarre to me. But if this guy's your 9 hitter and is a 25-year-old with still some promise, that's pretty stinking good. I mean, I would swap this out as a Royals fan. I'd love to have him.
He might be the Braves' Drew Waters, though.
Oh,
I believe he's a quad A. Yeah. So frankly, I saw Jared Kelenic more at the Tacoma Rainiers games than I did at the Seattle Mariners. He was down there a lot, fixing to swing, tweaking it. But he's a left-hander. He's only 25. Like, he's been literally in the league for 5 years and has just never really done it. He's bounced back and forth between the minors and the majors, majors. He kills it in the minors, comes up the majors, and he'll have a run, but then he'll go on the opposite of run. And we'll just call it runs down his leg.
He was a 6 overall pick for the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets. And then they traded him for Robinson Cano. Came over, I think. I think that was it. Wasn't that it?
I think I'm looking at him now. But he was a 6th overall pick. You don't usually have a guy like that flames out this quickly, but it's looking that way.
Yeah, it was strange. But regardless, like I said, when Ronald Acuna comes back, Kelenic and Brian De La Cruz, they are not going to be seeing the field very much, barring injury or they're not benching any of the other guys. So it's just days off, I guess, in platoon situation only. But that's what it's going to be. So the bench players, De La Cruz, Nick Allen, and then Sean Murphy, again, was a starting catcher last year. They'll be getting some time, but De La Cruz is not good. He's going to be a platoon guy with Kelenic. Nick Allen, possibly the worst hitting shortstop in Major League Baseball, was an Athletics opening day shortstop last year, but lost his job while it was still April. Sent back to the minors. His 3-year, I can't believe this kid has been playing for 3 years. So he's 26, but with career, and this is like 3 seasons, 209 average, 254 on base, and a 537 OPS. That is disgusting. And then last year, I mean, it's not like he didn't have any at-bats. In 100 at-bats, he struck out in 20 of them. He hit 1 homer. He batted 175, 216, and a 463 OPS.
The 463 OPS is probably the worst I've seen.
463
in doing this whole exercise.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen lower.
I don't think so.
That is really difficult to do.
Like below 500. Yeah. I don't think anybody we've seen has been below like 550.
Yeah, and he qualified. Difficult. I mean, he had over 100 plate appearances. So I think out of those that qualified, he may have been last. I'm sure. I don't even know if someone was worse, but
I'm gonna flip over to
here's the last one though.
Look.
Yeah, flip over there. So Ronald Acuna, everybody knows who he is. Don't he? He's just unbelievably good, unbelievably talented. He's 27, man. He should be in his peak. But he tore an ACL last May. It's his second torn ACL in 3 seasons. Oh, my God. But this guy's the Rookie of the Year in 2018, 4-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, 1-time MVP, and that was his historic 2023 season, which we were talking about Ohtani last year. Well, Ohtani was trying to beat Acuna's 2023 season. 8.4 WAR, 337, 416 on base, a 1,012 OPS, 41 home runs, 106 RBIs, 73 stolen bases, and a K to walk ratio of damn near 1-1. 84 Ks to 80 walks.
That's what's crazy.
And he scored 149 runs, which is absurd.
149. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, 100's really good.
That's like scoring every game, almost.
Yeah. And like we said, Ohtani last season in that year, was he 138, 137 or something like that?
Yeah.
So Acuna scored 10 more runs.
134. So 15 more runs.
15 more runs in Acuna's season. And he didn't go 50-50, but he went 40-70. It's just, that's what Acuna can be. And he comes back in about 6 weeks. So this Braves team.
He scored 15 more runs and 20 less homers.
Yeah. It's insane.
I saw Acuna in the 20 playoffs where Texas hosted everything because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I got there early to watch him take BP, and he hit the ball. Everybody talks about it sounding different.
Yep.
Like,
it really does.
I have a short list of guys that I've seen in BP, and he's on the list with Steroid McGuire, and Aaron Judge and Acuna. Those 3, when I saw them hitting BP, it was like, holy crap! Like this is like way different. The ball sounds way different when they hit.
It sounds like a lightning strike every time they hit it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was crazy to watch.
Yeah.
He hit the ball in some places I didn't think anybody could hit the ball in BP. Like, it was fun to watch. Dude has all kinds of power.
Is he stronger than Ron Gant?
He might be.
Log arm Gant.
Stronger than Ronnie Gant.
This is ridiculous.
Another 80s Braves guy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to Acuna coming back and seeing what this lineup can do. But this Braves lineup, it can stack up against anybody in the major leagues, to include the Dodgers with their multiple MVP guys and Yankees. I really don't know if there's a better lineup when they're all healthy than this Atlanta Braves lineup. So that's kind of there. You guys have, who would you say is, do you have anyone that you think would be better in this lineup we just went through?
What's crazy is,
especially when you add Acuna back and get rid of Kelenic and the Brian De La Cruz platoon. Now it's only Orlando Arcia, which is a weak spot.
Even with Orlando Arcia, what the crazy part is there's not anybody lower than double-digit home runs.
Oh no, not at all.
Which
not at all.
is like absurd, because usually you at least have a 7 and a 4 and a at the bottom of your lineup. Like
Right.
even their weak spot, even Orlando RC had 17 home runs last year.
Yeah.
I mean that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you realize about
I don't know that there is. I don't know if there is a lineup that's better, because even the Dodgers, the Dodgers, the bottom half has some weaker spots to it. It seems like
it's comparable. I think the top half, arguably, Atlanta's got a better lineup.
Yeah, which is
crazy because
that's Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman.
Right.
Right.
But if you've got Acuna, Riley, and Albies and Olsen, I mean,
I think it's comparable.
Those 3 or 4 guys, because they're 3 or 4 guys, pretty dang
if
good.
You take the age factor too. The Dodgers have an older lineup. These guys are still growing in their potential. Some of them.
Well, it's definitely better because their catcher last year was a 35-year-old Travis
d'Arnaud.
Thank you.
I thought you were trying to talk about Sam Darnold and trying to squeak in some.
I couldn't get it out.
You're choking on the silent letters.
D'Arnaud, who was he's like a 220 hitter. Like
he had that one good year, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, he did have that one good year, but they've gotten better there with Drake Baldwin.
I think so too.
And they got Jurickson Profar, who wasn't there last year.
Absolutely.
So.
Profar adds a lot. If he can do what he did,
he can be
even close to what he was last year.
He did last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the pitching, because that's actually the strength of the team. I was just kind of setting you guys up a little bit there. They got the best lineup, and they may have the best staff too. So Chris Sale, reigning Cy Young champ, man. He came back. He came back from the dead, age 36. So he pulled himself a Verlander and got himself a Cy Young. And
he's still sick, man.
What was amazing to me, did you guys realize he never actually won one? I thought I knew he'd been close and not gotten some. I thought he had gotten at least one.
He's going to be one of those. I totally never would have that's like a Nolan Ryan thing.
It is.
Like Nolan Ryan and Chris Sale, how many Cy Youngs do you have between them?
Now
most people
one.
would probably say, most people would probably say 6,
8,
7,
it's just their no-hitters, sorry.
Right.
But, so this guy, Chris Sale's been a top 6 Cy Young finisher 7 times. And last year he finally won. But 8-time All-Star. But he's been hurt. He's had a whole bunch of stuff last few years. I still think, and many do, that he's probably still on a potential to make the Hall of Fame. But he has another year or two like he did last year, for sure. But last year he finished 18-3.
Yeah.
177
ridiculous.
innings, a 2.38 ERA, a 1.01 whip, a 6.2 WAR. And then we were talking, so it's funny that Blake Snell actually has a higher K/9 career, but Chris Sale was bringing it last year. So 11.4 K per 9, 225 strikeouts last year to 39 walks for a 5.77 rate, which wow.
That's pretty good.
Can't do much better than that.
Pretty good.
Can't do much better than that. That's like what closers do, except he did it for 177 innings.
And you know what Chris Sale has going for him?
He's awesome.
He's mercurial.
Yeah.
He's mercurial.
Ooh, you love it when they're mercurial.
I love it because I think for a pitcher, the difference between a pitcher being really good and badass. I don't know, I can say that.
Oh, we can say that on the radio.
We'll leave that in.
Nobody's listening anyway.
Yeah, nobody's listening anyway. You're a little weird. It's the Randy Johnson, Grinky, whatever. And you guys know my favorite Chris Sale story. I've told you this one, when he was with the White Sox, right? And they had a throwback uniform day. And Chris Sale came in and he said, "I'm not wearing that uniform." And they were like, "Yeah, you are. It's throwback uniform day." And he was supposed to start. So he promptly went into the dugout while everybody's warming up. And he took scissors and he cut all the uniforms in the dugout.
What?
He cut
I don't
all
remember
the
this
uniforms in the
story.
dugout, and they sent him home. They were like, "You're freaking nuts! You're going home." And so they didn't start him. They sent him home and suspended him for a couple games. And he didn't care. He's like, "I'm not wearing that stupid uniform." And that's the kind of guy I want throwing. I want that dude with the 100-mile-an-hour lefty coming at you, just a little bit crazy, a little bit off.
Just a little nuts.
Because you don't quite dig in as much when somebody's a little bit off, right?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Exactly.
That's him. Awesome.
Totally.
So he's really good, and we haven't talked about their other guy, and I just want to talk about now because when he comes back, we're gonna have Chris Sale, and then Spencer Strider is going to come back too. And so while Spencer Strider missed all of last year, which sucks, and here's what they had in 2023. So in 2023, he went 20-5 with 186 innings, 3.86 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 3 WAR, and you thought 11.4 Ks per nine was good. How about 13.5? That's like a Aroldis Chapman for an entire game. 32 games. Yes. 281 strikeouts to 58 walks.
No way.
Man, I can't remember the last time I saw 281 strikeouts.
Yeah, me either. Because Chris Sale dominated last year and had 225.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be their 1-2 punch soon. So Spencer Strider, Rookie of the Year, he was second in 2022. All-Star, he is fourth in the Cy Young voting with that stat line. I don't even know how the hell – who was 3 better than him that year? But whatever. I didn't look at it up, but I looked at that. I was like, that didn't win? Wow. But, yeah, he was out last year after 2 starts. Apparently he had some weird thing. So a bone fragment cut into his UCL. And so it sounds kind of weird. So it's not a normal – it didn't – Tommy John didn't split it and have to do all that weird stuff. But he did have to get surgery on it. He should be back mid-April, no later than late April. I think he's already made a couple spring training starts, dominated in them. He's just crushing people. But this guy is going to be right back. So you're going to have Chris Sale and Spencer Strider at the top of that rotation in 3 weeks.
Thanks. That's I'll tell you. For some comparison, there's only 6 pitchers that have had more 6 active pitchers that have had more strikeouts in a season than Spencer Strider.
Max Scherzer, DeGrom,
Chris Sale, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, and Max Scherzer twice and Justin Verlander twice.
DeGrom can't stay healthy long enough to get to 281.
DeGrom is not one of them.
What did he get to? One of them. Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
He got 269. He got to 269.
Oh wow!
Okay.
I wouldn't have guessed that high even. That's impressive.
But if you guys
that was only in 100 innings, Pruitt.
But of the average of the active pitchers, a little trivia mixed in here. Of the active pitchers, who has the most strikeouts in a season, and how many?
Max Scherzer, 330.
Okay, good guess. It's not right. Max Scherzer had 300 in 2018. That's the most he had.
Okay. I knew he had a crap load.
Right.
In what year? 2018.
Yeah,
I'll say. It doesn't sound right, but Garrett Cole, 305.
Garrett Cole is correct.
Ooh, Garrett Cole, good job, dog.
2019 had 326 strikeouts.
Wow.
326 in 212 innings.
What?
Whoa.
That's incredibly
ridiculous.
That's a 13+ ratio as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, that's fun stuff.
That is good.
If you really want to talk about, guys, all you young folks listen, let me give you some perspective here. Nolan Ryan is age 26 a year. 383 strikeouts.
Yeah.
383.
But how many
he probably
innings was
threw
that too?
260 innings.
But,
there it is. That's the innings.
Oh no. He only threw 326 innings that year.
Yeah.
326.
Yeah, he never came out of games. That was back in the day.
Well, that's because he threw so soft. I mean.
Yeah. He just lobbed it in there, saved his arm a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
I mean, the difference though between obviously today and yesteryear is just relief pitchers. And
Yes.
this innings thing where you can't pitch the third time through the lineup, you got to come out after 6. And for one, you're not doing 3 days rest. You're going to do maybe once a week. It's like, what happened here?
The one that will blow you away, though, and the closest to our era, modern-wise, so Randy Johnson, he threw 249 innings, which is still a ton for
That's
now.
a ton. Yeah.
Now, right? But this was, this was in 2001. So he threw 249 innings, and he had 372 strikeouts in 249 innings.
Wow. That's just different. I mean, they don't make them like that anymore.
You're built different when you're doing that.
Yeah. That is insane.
All right. Sorry for the tangent, but it was fun tangent.
That is fun tangent. So when you get guys like that. So Sale and Strider.
Chris Sale. Okay. Who's third, John? I mean, we got a chance in a short series. Not.
Exactly. So Ronaldo Lopez is their, for right now, number 2. Right-handed pitcher, 31 years old. He had a really good year last year. But here's my thing. I don't believe in him. I don't believe him one bit. This is fool's gold, man. He's pyrite. So he had a 1.99 ERA. He's like, what? That's Bob Gibson. Yeah, I know. For a 31-year-old, first time ever. And a 1.1 whip. Not horrible. He had 5.1 WAR. 9.8 Ks per 9. Pretty good. 148 Ks, 42 walks. All right, pretty good. But your first All-Star, you're 30. Kind of like Jerkson Profar. His first 31. And he's former White Sox, right? But he's pitched for the White Sox.
Yeah, that's where I remember him from. And he
White
wasn't
Sox,
that good.
Angels, Cleveland. He pitched for all 3 of those guys in 2023. Then landed in Atlanta in 24. And hadn't been a starter since 2019. What? I didn't realize that. And that year, in 2019, he led the league in earned runs allowed. So when you see this 1.99 ERA, sure, man.
He had a 5.38 ERA in 2019.
Yeah, maybe he played a fiddle and played it good and suddenly found a deal with the devil, and now he's ridiculous. Or he's going to revert. I'm going to the revert. Last year, he had an 87% left on base rate to get that type of ERA. Like normal's like 65, 60. You don't get 87. Like, oh, you left him loaded again. Weird. No one came in. Oh, weird. Left 2 people on. No. So he's not going to have that happen again.
Yeah, his lowest ERA in a year prior to last year is 3.27, and he was only been in the 3s a couple times. The rest of the times he's 4+.
Yep. So he's really, in my mind, he's at best a 3, but really like a 4 and 5 guy.
Yeah.
That's where they have him on this. If he ends up settling,
pretty great.
Exactly. And so that's kind of what's
I take
up.
him as a 4.
Yep, for sure. And that's where he should be. So that's a grain of salt. Maybe I'm going to be dead wrong and he figured out how to pitch in his early 30s.
Maybe.
And if so, I'll say I was wrong, Ronaldo. You're a stud. Right. I'm wrong. You're right. You're big. I'm small.
You're the best. I'm the worst. You're the best.
Exactly. We're putting similar faith in Cy Lugo.
It's
very similar.
Learned how to pitch above the age of 30.
Well,
so that's true.
I find them a little bit different, but I don't want to digress that far.
Yeah,
I think Lugo's way better. All right, Spencer
I do too.
Schwellenbach. So he fills up the whole damn jersey when you put that name on there.
Yeah, it is.
So right-hander.
You got to curve that name.
He's like Pete Crow Armstrong. He makes a circle around his number.
Roman word.
So right-handed pitcher, 24. So he's one of their top prospects, but he's going to be in the rotation. 8-7 record last year. Had 123 innings, 3.35 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, really good. 2.7 WAR, and he had a 9.2 K per 9 too. I'm like, all these dudes strike out everybody. And here's what's nice.
Something in the water in Atlanta is what it is. Man.
Exactly. It must be just need to be really hot at SunTrust. But 127 Ks to 23 walks, which that's incredible. A 5.52 rate. Awesome. So he kind of just came out of nowhere. I mean, he was one of their prospects, but he wasn't really – I don't think they expected this. They've had dudes come up and they were expecting it and it didn't happen. This guy came up and just dominated. But – he was actually the guy I got to see pitch last week. So at the Tampa Bay's new home stadium, Steinbrenner Field, But it was kind of fun. So I got to watch him pitch. He did look good. He struck out 10 dudes in 6 innings, didn't allow anybody, and it still had Judge in the lineup. And it didn't have like Bellinger, and Stanton was already hurt. But it's like half starters and half scrubs. But he killed him. He just overmatched him. And that was obviously the last week before the season started. So they've had plenty of preseason at bats at that point. Spring training. That's kind of crazy. Sure. So I think he's going to be pretty darn good again this year. 24, he's on the rise. So arrow's pointing up for this kid. And like I said, he's probably going to – I think he'll pass Ronaldo Lopez very easily. But anyway, Spencer Schwellenbach, someone to keep a lookout on. If you can get in – I mean, there's no way he's going to be available in your draft. But if you do like the daily fantasy and he's got a good matchup, Spencer Schwellenbach, put him in there, man. He's going to get some Ks for you. All right, so going to go to Grant Holmes next. So right-handed pitcher – age 29.
What's up, Holmes?
Yeah, what's up, Holmes? So this guy's kind of a different kind of dude too. So he's a reliever turned starter, but he had a 3.56 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 9.2 K per 9. Theme here, they're all over 9. 70 Ks and 15 walks, but again, only had 68 innings last year. But he spent a decade in the minors, man. So from 18 to 28, he was in the minors. First MLB experience, got called up last year. Did great. He only started 7 games, though, but as of now, he's in the starting rotation. So I don't know if he will keep it.
He's probably who falls off, right?
I would think it's between him and the next guy, but the next guy's 22. So Grant Holmes is probably going to be the first dude off the chopping block. But I don't know if they'll necessarily –
little long relief
I think
for
so.
Grant Holmes.
Yep, yeah. And I think he'll be like the first one called back up. I don't know if they'll send him down to AAA Gwinnett again. I think at age 29, you probably just keep him up because he's proven himself to be a very good pitcher.
Probably didn't have any options left.
Yeah, well, he may not have any options left. You might be right on that. But Grant Holmes, I think he's really good. And again, for a guy that may not even be in your rotation, he could start for damn near anybody with that kind of numbers from last year.
Yeah.
But it's whether it's sustainable, right? So you need it first time when you're 29. We'll see. And frankly, he only had 7 starts.
Yeah.
Right.
7 starts is not enough to really prove yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the next guy, AJ Smith-Shaver. So this guy is one of their...
He's spilling out the jersey, too.
He is. I know. They got to love these things.
Smith-Shaver, Schwellenbach.
But he's only 22. So 22, right-handed pitcher. He only had 1 start last year. He had a rough AAA just year in general. So I think they wanted him to come up sooner and just didn't. But he came up and did a spot start in September, I believe. But he was giving up just too many homers, too many walks. And really, it's going to be between, I think, this first month, between him and Holmes. Whoever does better will probably stay in the rotation. And then Spencer Strider is going to immediately bump one of those dudes. I mean, maybe Smith-Shaver back to AAA Gwinnett because he does have options left. And that may be what happens. Just kind of depends on how that first month goes, I think. But regardless, I think he's got a lot of upside. Again, arrow's pointing up.
Smith-Shaver does have an option, and Grant Holmes does not. So that is an interesting...
Probably sounds like what would happen then.
Yeah.
But all good pitchers. I think they're all going to be dang good. So that goes to the bullpen. So bullpen just as good last year.
So what happened? Is Leo Mazzoni still the pitching coach? Is that what's happening? Like, did he just never retire? Was it like a faux retirement, but he's actually in the back, and he's like, hey guys, do this.
He just hangs out in the
like
tunnel.
Old Maddox.
Exactly.
He just hangs out in the tunnel under the stadium.
Call your pitches when you're scratching your cheek. Gotta throw your glove this way. Like, hey, what? And you already called your pitch. That was amazing. Right. So if you haven't seen those kind of stories on either YouTube or whatever,
so great.
The Greg Maddox stuff, where he didn't even have the catcher wasn't even throwing real signs down. He's just throwing stuff down, but Maddox already called his pitch. Unbelievable.
That's so good.
Yeah. So the bullpen. Let's go there to finish up here. So Razel, or it might be Razel Iglesias, man. I don't know. He's been my fantasy closer for like 5 years, so I just call him Iglesias. Right. But right-handed pitcher, and he's 35 now, so he's getting up there. But 6-2 last year as your closer, so he wasn't losing too many games for you. Had probably his best statistical season. So in 69 innings, he had a 1.95 ERA, a 0.736 WHIP, and 34 saves. Awesome. So his K to 9 rate went down a little bit, so 8.8, but who cares? I mean, he struck out 68 in 69 innings. Not too worried about that. Didn't walk hardly anybody. 13 walks in those 69 innings.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like when my closers keep those dudes swinging, not walking.
Throwing strikes.
Yep.
Yep.
But what's kind of funny is his K rate, that was the first time it's been below 11. Is only for the second time since 2018. So it did drop quite a bit, but he ended up having his best year statistically on everything else. So who knows?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, have we noticed a trend in the majors of older closers? It seems to me like you're starting
Ryan
to remember
Presley,
it used to be like the young, like 22-year-old fireballer that they would bring in to close the game.
Yeah.
And now it seems like more and more you're getting these mid-30s, late 30s.
There's not too many early 20s closers out there. That's the truth. I mean, there's still some, but yeah.
And when we were growing up, it was like, when we were growing up, it was young man.
Lee Smith is still pitching.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. I feel like Quisenberry pitched till he was like 40. He finished on the Cardinals after the Royals.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. Those crusty vets.
Bruce Sutter. It out. Right.
They're everywhere. So yeah, Iglesias is just yet one more. I think he still has another. I think he's got a couple good years left. He just seems like he's getting better, and
when you're really throwing one inning at a time, you can play for a long time.
Yeah, I mean 736 WHIP is ridiculously good.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
No base runners giving up.
So the rest of their bullpen, I guess if there is, I mean they're all pretty decent though. So Dylan Lee,
not great, but
pretty darn good. So Dylan Lee, left-handed pitcher, he's 30. He did 59 innings last year. He had a 2.11 ERA, 1.1 WHIP, 11.5 K per nine. Awesome. He had 76 strikeouts in those 59 innings, only 17 walks. So he's probably going to be the main setup guy and high leverage guy, especially for left-handed matchups. So Dylan Lee's going to be a lot of games, I believe. Another left-handed guy they have is Aaron Bummer. So that dude.
What a bummer.
What a bummer.
That's a bummer.
He's a bummer with an 11.2 K per nine, though. And
I believe Bummer was a White Sox.
He was.
I remember him with the White Sox.
So he came over from the White Sox in 2024. Again, nice little crafty lefty doing his things. A couple more dudes that get some time is Pierce Johnson. So he's a 34-year-old right-handed pitcher. 3.67, 1.29 WHIP, so a little higher. But again, all these dudes, 10.7 K per nine. And they just don't walk anybody. So just tons of Ks.
This was their chink in the armor, though, and this is the chance to beat them because I was looking. Their bullpen was ranked 24th in the majors last year. So, and the major reason was their hits per nine were quite high. So they gave up a lot of hits. So I mean, not Iglesias obviously, but like all the other guys.
Yeah, no, that could be it. So they brought in another dude to help. I don't know. I guess they just didn't want Iglesias to feel like the oldest guy, so they brought Hector Neris in. He's 36, right-handed pitcher. This was I couldn't believe it. I had to double check these stats. I was like, that can't be right. Like he had 15 decisions. He was 10-5 as the closer for Houston last year. I'm like, what? How on earth do you have more decisions than Hunter Brown, who's a starter? I just don't get that. But he had 18 saves.
1.4 WHIP, I'm going to guess he had plenty of blown saves.
That's right.
Baseball is weird.
And then Houston just came back and won in extras.
Yeah.
Right.
And he gave up. It's tie game
now.
Another win. Exactly. But seriously, 10 wins. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But with those 10 wins and 18 saves was a negative 0.2 WAR.
Wow.
You're not even helping us. You just keep blowing our leads. That's all you're doing. And then we score and you win, you dumbass.
We're bailing you out again.
Exactly. So he was just signed in spring training, like literally a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. I mean, he's obviously going to be on the team, but I don't know what role he's going to have. Maybe they do just put him right ahead of Iglesias, but that sure would probably make Iglesias like, dude, I had a save opportunity. Now I'm not pitching tonight. What's up? You blew the goddamn lead. So I don't know what he's going to do. They just traded Ian Anderson, so he was a guy that was vying for the 5th spot. They traded him for left-handed reliever from the Angels, Jose Suarez. I don't think he's very good at all. I mean, last year he was a 6 ERA and a 1.6 WHIP and a minus 0.6 WAR. I guess he had a 9.6 K per nine. When he wasn't getting shelled, he was striking people out. Right. I don't know. He's not good, but he's a left-handed pitcher, and we've talked about that in previous episodes. People will take a left-hander. And I think that's all he's there for.
They already have two other ones. I don't know.
So that's the relievers. I'll jump into, their top prospects are kind of already up. So Drake Baldwin's number 1. He's up. And AJ Smith-Shaver's number 2, and he's up. So that kind of goes to number 3. So Cam Caminiti. And he's the nephew of Ken Caminiti, if you remember him from Houston fame back in the day. Yep. So he's a left-handed starting pitcher. He's in A-ball right now, but he's the 88th ranked prospect in MLB total. So he's one of those good ones. But he was drafted last year, so 24th overall pick out of high school. Throws fast, man. He's upper 90s. He's got good sliders, good changeup, good curveball. So he's one they think could go up relatively quick, but relatively quick for a prep arm is usually like 2 to 3 years. So we'll see. But that's kind of all they got. So they don't really have anyone else coming up, but I mean, when you realize they don't need anyone. Exactly. So they're good. So Michael Harris, 24, Drake Baldwin, 24, Kelenick's 25 if he turns it on, Acuna's 27. So they definitely have enough youth. And even on their pitching staff, Schwellenbach's 24, AJ Smith-Shaver 22, Spencer Strider 26. They're young. They're going to be really, 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 really good. So it kind of wraps up all my stuff on the Braves. And
so we get to the most important thing, Dex.
Yeah.
Magic question.
The magic question. I'm placing my bet. Am I going over or under the 93.5?
So it's hard for me to do because it's just a lot of wins, but I'm going over. So I think they have the best offense in baseball. As of right now, they're all healthy or on their way back. Acuna will be back soon. I think their pitching staff has 2 Cy Young candidates in it to be 1 and 2. And then I think Schwellenbach is a really good 3. I think Lopez is a good 4. And either Holmes or Smith-Shaver will be the 5 or swing guy. That's a really good staff. And then their closer's solid. And he only got better last year. So I don't see a lot of kinks in there. And especially once Acuna gets back in that lineup, I don't see any in the offense. So I think this team can be mid-90s pretty easy. And I think they could probably eclipse the 100-win mark and be kind of challenging the Dodgers for the overall 1 seed period. And we comment on that. I mean, Dodgers could have a chance to win the most games in the history of baseball this year if they trend it right. So they could win 117, the Braves could win 102 and be 15 games behind, right?
Right.
But all in all, I think this Braves team can be a mid-90s team pretty easy. And last year, with all of those injuries, losing everybody, they still won 89. So to win 5 more, if they're healthy, sign me up for that. So I'm on the mid to upper 90s for the Braves. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the only way that they're not doing it is if they have Brian De La Cruz playing full time.
Yeah.
Come late into the season, because that means they had more injury bugs. So I think it would take injuries to derail this team, and probably more than they had last year.
Which they can't be,
because it seems like they're deeper than they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they look really good.
Yep,
they do. Yep, I can't disagree with your assessment of the lineup. Like that lineup can definitely compete with the Dodgers.
But you don't like the over 93.5, do you? You have pause, Prue.
No, I think I do like it. We were talking about the Dodgers is set so high that I was under on them, right? But 93.5 seems that was like what, 11 lower than what Vegas predicted for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They're just so much older. They're so much older than this team. I like their youth in Atlanta. Yeah. And they've got a lot of young pitching prospects, which I think is great. The Dodgers young pitching prospects have an injury history already. Right?
Yeah,
so this is a team that I think should stay healthier than the Dodgers will. And I like your thought there. I bet they win 96 to 98.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they stay healthy again. I mean, Chris Sale's not been a bastion of health, but if he can spin it and just do his thing, and Spencer Strider comes back and looks good, and so far in spring training he does, I think it'll be awesome. So that's where we are for this year's 2025 Atlanta Braves. Continue to follow, like, subscribe on our socials, and we will keep giving you a few more teams. We got a couple left to give you. We got both New York teams will be coming out hopefully this weekend we'll get those recorded and out. So our Yankees and Mets, and then what else we got left? So we got Yankees, Mets, and then Cincinnati,
Miami.
I think, Giants. Miami we already did. It'll be out here soon. So for all you Miami Marlins fans, we got you. That's all we got. So as always,
stay shrewd, everybody.